Welcome to the major news from BBC published today on the 22nd of October. Naruhito, Japan's emperor, proclaims enthronement in ancient ceremony. Japan's Emperor Naruhito has formally proclaimed his ascension to the throne in an elaborate ceremony. The emperor, aged 59, officially began his reign in May after the abdication of his father, the then Emperor Akihito. But, after a series of traditional rituals inside the imperial palace in Tokyo, his ascension has now been formalized. The ceremony comes as Japan reels from the effects of Typhoon Hagibis, which left almost 80 people dead. A celebration parade was postponed out of respect for the victims and their families. News from BBC. All clips may not represent the story. Watch to learn English the way you've learned your mother tongue, as this video is especially made. Canada election, Trudeau's Liberals win but lose majority. Justin Trudeau's Liberal Party has retained power in a narrow Canadian election win, but he will now be Prime Minister of a minority government. The Liberals are projected to win 157 seats, 13 short of a majority, and will find it harder to pass legislation in Mr. Trudeau's second term. The opposition Conservatives are expected to win the popular vote but have not translated that into seats. They are projected to take 121, up from the 95 they held before. Thailand royal consort, how did Sininat Wongvajirapakdi fall from grace? Thailand's king stunned observers on Monday by stripping his royal consort of her rank and titles, just months after she was granted the honors. It was only in July when Sininat Wongvajirapakdi was named as official consort alongside the new queen, but the palace said she was punished for trying to elevate herself to the same state as the queen. For some observers, her downfall says as much about the direction of Thailand's monarchy as it does about her alleged offences. The new monarch, King Maha Vajiralongkorn, ascended the throne in 2016 when his father died. The country's lèse-majesté law forbids any criticism of the monarchy and carries a hefty prison sentence. Hesitant hitmen jailed over botched assassination in China. A group of hitmen have been jailed after repeatedly trying to subcontract a job to each other in Guangxi, China. Businessman Tan Yuhui hired a hitman to take out his competitor, Wei Mou, for $282,000, £218,000, a court heard. But the hitman hired another man to do the job, offering $141,000. That man hired another hitman, who hired another hitman, who hired another hitman. The plan crumbled when the final hitman met Mr. Wei in a cafe and proposed faking his death. All 6 men, the 5 hitmen and Tan, were convicted of attempted murder by the court in Nanning, Guangxi, following a trial that lasted 3 years. Xiaomi, the Chinese brand dominating India's smartphone market. Chinese tech company Xiaomi has come to dominate India's massive low-cost smartphone market in a few short years. The BBC's Kritika Pathy talks to tech experts to understand just how that happened. 15 minutes, that's how long it took for Xiaomi's latest smartphone, Redmi Note 8, to sell out once it went on a flash sale online on Monday. But this isn't unusual among the company's products, and is a key part of its India strategy. You've got to register online first and then keep an eye out for these flash sales, then you pounce, Mala Bhargava, a technology journalist, told the BBC. While Xiaomi's mobiles are also available offline at stores, most new models are first sold online, which accounts for more than half of their sales. The online community the brand has amassed is astonishing, Jayanth Koller, partner at telecom research firm Convergence Catalyst, said. When Xiaomi entered the Indian market in 2015, Mr. Koller explained, it did not invest in brick-and-mortar stores. Instead, they focused on selling their products online. This kept distribution costs low and that made the phones cheaper. Brexit, Boris Johnson in last push to get deal through. Boris Johnson will urge MPs to back his Brexit deal in a final bid to get the UK to leave the EU in 9 days' time. MPs will vote on the PM's withdrawal agreement bill, and if they back it they will be asked to approve a 3-day timetable to consider the legislation. But the decision to curtail the scrutiny of the bill to 3 days has sparked anger from opposition MPs. The BBC's Norman Smith said the PM looks set for a deeply damaging defeat over the timetable. However, the Prime Minister seems on course to win an important symbolic victory with MPs poised to back his Brexit bill in principle, our assistant political editor added. MPs will begin a number of votes on Mr. Johnson's withdrawal agreement bill, which was published on Monday, at about 1900 British summer time. Elsewhere, European Council President Donald Tusk has told the European Parliament in Strasbourg he is consulting the 27 EU leaders on how to react to the UK's request for a Brexit delay and will decide in the coming days. Chris the sheep, Marino with famously overgrown fleece dies. Chris the sheep, a merino famed for once being discovered with the world's heaviest fleece, has died in Australia. The animal generated global attention in 2015 after being spotted in the wild carrying what was described as 6 years' worth of wool. A life-saving haircut followed, with a shearer removing 41.1 kilograms (88 pounds) of fleece, later confirmed to be a world record. On Tuesday, his carers at a New South Wales farm said he had died of old age. "We are heartbroken at the loss of this sweet, wise, friendly soul," the Little Oak Sanctuary wrote online. Chris was thought to be age 10, a fairly average lifespan for a merino sheep. Text, Kpops next idol sensation. I was told that the next big thing in Kpop were nervous backstage before the showcase of their first studio album. No wonder. These teenagers may feel that they have a lot to live up to. Tomorrow X Together, also known as Text, have been billed as the little brother to the global sensation BTS. They are only the second idol group to come from the agency Big Hit Entertainment, which launched BTS back in 2013. So, as you can imagine, expectations are high, and they know it. The group's leader, 18-year-old Subin, told the gathered press, "BTS and Big Hit have given us very large wings, and I think it is our job to soar on these wings. Our job is to make these wings strong, and become a group that BTS can be proud of." Their debut in March was a promising start. The Dream Chapter, Star launched at No. 140 on the Billboard 200 in the United States, making it the highest charting debut album by an all-male K-pop group. But now it's time for their first studio album release. Bangladesh Cricket Board to meet after players go on strike. The Bangladesh Cricket Board will host an emergency directors meeting on Tuesday after players went on strike. Leading players, including star all-rounder and Test captain Shakib Al Hasan, announced on Monday they will not take part in any cricket activity until a set of 11 demands are met. They are calling for better pay, improved facilities and changes to domestic one-day tournaments. When the demands are met, normal service will resume, said Shakib. All of us want cricket to improve. Some of us will play for another 10 years, some for 4-5 years, but we want to create a good environment for the players who will come after us, so Bangladesh cricket can move forward. Bangladesh's 2-match test tour of India in November is under threat if the dispute cannot be solved in time. The strike action also includes the ongoing National Cricket League first-class tournament, with the next round of matches due to start on Thursday. The players are demanding the salaries in first-class cricket are raised to 100,000 Bangladeshi taka £912 per match, an increase of about 300%. They also want the BCB to increase the salaries of groundsmen, local coaches, umpires, physios and trainers, as well as invest more money to improving grounds, indoor nets, gyms and equipment throughout the country. Female astronauts answer questions from orbit. U.S. astronauts Jessica Meir and Christina Koch answered questions from reporters and members of the public in a press conference from the International Space Station. The two astronauts made history on Friday, becoming the first to complete an all-female spacewalk. Wisconsin black security guard reinstated after firing over N-word. A black security guard who was fired from a school in the U.S. for asking a student not to use a racial slur has been reinstated. Marlon Anderson repeated the N-word while asking a black pupil who had addressed him with the epithet to stop. The sacking in Wisconsin sparked protests among students and staff and a grievance from the officers' union. Mr. Anderson celebrated after being reinstated on Monday, sharing "I'm back" on his Facebook page. He will be placed on paid administrative leave while his return is negotiated. The incident started on the 9th of October when he was asked to help remove an unruly teen, who then began directing racial abuse at him. Mr. Anderson said the student had directed the word at him about 15 times. He responded by telling the student not to call him the word, himself repeating it several times. Please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.